With that, we move to item number 1, the report of the Chief of Police. Chief McDonald.
Morning, President Miller, President Shields, Commissioners, Inspector General Barragan, City Attorney Delegaire, and Mr. Sibley. Today I'll discuss significant events from the previous week, provide a crime update, and discuss our personnel strength. Last week we put out a chief's notice on immigration enforcement actions, and I'll just briefly go over that. In light of the ongoing ICE immigration enforcement actions occurring throughout the region, the department has taken proactive steps to clarify our role and to ensure the safety of all involved. We recently issued an Office of the Chief of Police notice dated June 27, 2025, to all department personnel outlining expectations and responsibilities when responding to scenes involving potential federal immigration enforcement. The guidance reinforces the following key points: immediate supervisor notification. Officers responding to calls involving possible federal immigration enforcement are required to request a supervisor if one has not already been dispatched by our communications division. As far as verification and accountability, if officers encounter individuals engaged in enforcement actions who are not clearly identifiable as local, state, or federal law enforcement, they are directed to verify credentials with the on-scene supervisor or the federal agent in charge. This verification must be captured on body-worn video to ensure transparency and accountability. As far as impersonation protocols, if it's determined that an individual is not a legitimate federal enforcement officer, officers are instructed to take appropriate enforcement action, which may include detaining or arresting the individual for impersonating a peace officer consistent with department policy and applicable law. Our role is strictly limited. Once it's confirmed that the scene involves a federal enforcement action, the role of the LAPD personnel is strictly limited to maintaining public safety. This includes creating tactical separation between the parties, maintaining a safe perimeter, directing pedestrian and vehicular traffic if necessary, and most importantly, ensuring that no one gets hurt. We understand that public perception can be sensitive during these operations. Some may see our presence as cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. However, our officers are being reminded and are actively communicating on scene that their presence is solely to prevent injury, de-escalate tension, and protect lives. To further clarify the department's position and promote transparency, we also published an updated Immigration Frequently Asked Questions document. This resource is readily available to the public and outlines in clear terms that the LAPD does not participate in immigration enforcement and does not initiate contact based on immigration status. The FAQ explains our responsibilities and legal boundaries and reaffirms our commitment to all Los Angeles communities, regardless of immigration status. We had an officer-involved shooting in Rampart on June 28, 2025 at approximately 22:50 hours. Newton Gang Enforcement Detail uniformed officers were in the area of Avalon Boulevard and 42nd Place when they observed the suspect, later identified as Ismael Hernandez, walking in the roadway armed with a handgun. As officers drove toward Hernandez, he raised the handgun and discharged 2 rounds, and an officer-involved shooting occurred. Hernandez was struck by gunfire and fell to the pavement. Officers rendered aid to Hernandez until the arrival of Los Angeles Fire Department, who transported him to a local hospital where he remains in stable condition. A victim who was involved in a physical altercation with Hernandez prior to the OIS was treated at scene by LAPD personnel for a minor injury. Force Investigation Division investigators determined Hernandez had threatened that victim and fired a handgun in his presence at the onset of the incident. No officers or other community members were injured during this incident, and a blue steel Rossi .38 special revolver was recovered at scene and booked as evidence. The cylinder of the revolver contained 5 spent cartridge cases. Force Investigation Division investigators responded to the scene and are investigating the incident. For context, year to date, we've had 21 officer-involved shootings compared to 16 this time last year. On the burglary front, on June 26th at approximately 3:30 in the afternoon, LA Impact surveillance units were tracking suspects believed to be involved in a recent commercial burglary series. The suspects were traveling in a white BMW that had been cold-plated to conceal its identity. A second vehicle, a silver Audi, was also observed in tandem, believed to be acting as a fellow car. Surveillance units followed the BMW into West Los Angeles area was observed pulling into a driveway in the 1900 block of Vanderbilt Canyon Road. Two suspects got out of the vehicle and jumped the fence into a private residence. Overheard surveillance confirmed the suspects made entry into the home and burglarized the property. The suspects were then seen leaving the residence carrying stolen items, re-entered the BMW. LA Impact officers continued monitoring while simultaneously broadcasting real-time updates to LAPD units. Once LAPD units arrived and joined in the following, the suspects fled at a high rate of speed and the officers initiated a short pursuit. The pursuit concluded in the city of Santa Monica when the BMW collided with a tree. Two suspects fled on foot and were quickly apprehended by officers. The driver of the silver Audi was also stopped and taken into custody. Stolen property was recovered from the BMW and both vehicles were impounded. All three suspects, each with prior arrests for burglary, receiving stolen property, firearm possession, and narcotic offenses, were booked for burglary. As of the week ending June 28th, our citywide crime analysis shows that overall crime continues to trend downward in key areas. Comparing the 4-week period from June 1st to the 28th, compared to the prior 4-week period in May, we've seen an 8% overall reduction in combined person and property crimes, which is about 641 fewer reported offenses. Breaking that down further, persons crimes have seen a slight increase of 1.6%, while property crimes have declined significantly by 11%. Focusing on homicides year to date, the city's experienced just under 30% reduction compared to the same period last year. Looking at victims shot citywide, we're seeing a year-to-year decrease of 12.5%. And turning to specific crime categories, aggravated assaults have risen slightly, up 3.3%. Robberies have decreased by 3%. Burglaries have shown the most notable drop, down by 11.5%. Within that, residential burglaries are down 13.8%, and non-residential burglaries are down 8.1%. Motor vehicle theft has also shown improvement, decreasing by 3.3% over the 4-week period compared to the prior month. As far as our personnel strength, currently have 8,739 sworn personnel, 2,650 civilian professional staff, and 355 reserve officers. That concludes my report to the Commission this morning, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you for the June 27th directive on response to incidents involving federal enforcement actions. Commissioner Garcia and I had a very productive meeting yesterday with a number of council members, and federal immigration enforcement was a topic that consumed most of that meeting. We're particularly concerned with LAPD responses for help calls, and I'm really happy to see here now that we will have a supervisor on scene for all of those incidents, and that supervisor's responsibilities you've already laid out, so we're looking forward to that. So to the extent possible, we can mitigate any unfortunate incidents happening out there between our agencies and of course between the agencies and the public that they're out there serving. I don't have any other questions. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to my fellow commissioners, and I'm going to start with Vice President Shields. President Shields.
Thank you. And Chief, I'll just reiterate President Souther's statements about the proactive attempts that you and the department have tried to take to clarify the role of the department. And you talked about kind of the impersonation protocols. Have you spoken with our law enforcement, the prosecution folks that we have, the city attorney's office, the district attorney's office, to ensure that any person impersonating law enforcement of any kind is prosecuted to the fullest extent?
Yeah, we've been working closely with the city attorney, the district attorney, and the U.S. attorney as far as prosecution of cases overall, and they are all very good partners in trying to be able to hold people accountable to the degree that's appropriate for all of these type of cases and others.
And has the department come across scenes where they truly did not know whether there was lawful federal agents on scene, or were really concerned about impersonators?
I think to my awareness, the officers, when they respond to the scenes of the ones we've been there, once they get there, they determine, based on their observations, that there are federal enforcement officers doing their work. But understandably, in the eye of the public who may not be aware of the nuances, the emergency lights on the cars, the type of body armor, tactical attire worn, where to look for badges and other identifiers. The public understandably would not be aware of those things, and certainly a cause for great anxiety.
Thank you, those are my questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Garcia.
Good morning, thank you, Chief. Similar to President Suther's comments, thank you for that directive and looking forward to seeing how it works out with the supervisor being there and to your point, ensuring that we are properly identifying the individuals who are masked or unmasked, who are detaining folks, and then looking forward to the data collected or some kind of report so that the community sees what the actual verification is looking like and the rate at which we are positively verifying who those folks are.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanchez Gordon.
Speaking every time with her speaking on the mic, bro. She's still not doing it. She's still not doing it. Speak into the mic.
Impersonating a federal law enforcement officer. And when LAPD goes there and tries to verify, who are these people, you talk about they were able to determine from their attire that in fact they are true law enforcement, federal law enforcement agents. What is that? What is that clue? What is that attire that is a telltale that, oh yeah, these are the real thing? Because I think our community needs to know that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be limited to attire, it'd be kind of a comprehensive picture of what they see when they get there, the vehicles in the street, the type of vehicles, and we're equipped with legitimate emergency lighting and sirens, so forth. And then if they're wearing a vest, does the vest have a badge on it from ICE or HSI or some of the other border patrol? And then does the officer identify themselves by showing a badge or by doing something that would give them a comfort that, while the concern was legitimate with the community as to who these people were, the officers have satisfied that it's part of the ongoing ICE enforcement efforts. And so it's not something I would identify as any individual piece of equipment or vehicle or anything. It's kind of the whole picture when they get there, and plus what they're told by the individuals at scene.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Commissioner. We now move on to agenda item number 2, public comment. Madam Secretary, please announce the first speaker.
We have Steve Rosenberger.
I'm here today because I've lived in New York, Boston, San Francisco, and I've lived in LA for the last 15 years. And in the past month, I've never experienced a wider divide between a police force and the citizens of its city. And I came here because I wanted to get a sense of what your perspective is on this, because from the perspective of people who live in LA, things are completely out of control. There are hundreds of videos online that citizens take with their cameras of these masked, armed, unidentified individuals tackling them in the middle of the street, blowing doors off houses. And there is never law enforcement present. Because like us, you don't know where these clowns are going to pop up. So in the instances where there are police visible, like you said, they're there to direct traffic around the often violent abduction of people. They do not identify themselves in any way. These are kidnappings. That's what it feels like. It feels like we are living in one of those countries that none of us ever want to go to, where secret police are just dragging people off the street into vans, and God knows where they took them.
That's what's happening.
And that is what's happening. So, Chief McDonald, you spoke about transparency. When the LAPD does encounter someone who is not readily identifiable by their uniform, whatever, as authentic federal agents, you have to go through the process of identifying them on camera. Is that what you said? Body camera?
The body camera will be gone.
Okay, has that ever happened?
Wow.
Has that ever happened? Because if it did,
I'm gonna
you'd
mark
be
this in my
doing the
calendar.
police force a favor by
Well, I
making
got some
that public,
questions there.
by showing that you're actually doing that process. But none of us have ever seen that happen. And I believe one of the commissioners has asked you how many times the police have done that, and you didn't answer. So, you know, what we can see in your response, it seems that you are completely disregarding the threat to the public, and protecting people that are, if the police did what they're doing 2 months ago, you would be arresting the police officers.
Time's up.
Thank
Who
you.
is this guy? He gets to ask questions and be answered and go over time?
Ma'am.
Nothing personal.
Ma'am, I'm the
Well,
chair.
there's nothing
I will
that you-
direct any
Yeah,
comments
that's
to
clear.
him.
We're
You
not,
will
we're not mad
cease
at you,
or
we're
will leave.
just pointing out
It's not your
hypocrisy.
fault.
I appreciate
Thank
the
you, sir.
time. I just want to impress upon you guys that,
Sir, your public comment has concluded. Thank you.
please do something
Yes, we
different.
have Rex B on the Zoom. Rex, you're on.
Yeah. I'm going to speak to all items.
She's not the one that answers anybody.
Okay, so starting off with the chief's report.
Sir, be seated. Excuse me, sir, online. I'm sorry. Gentlemen, the camera, sit down. You're disrupting the meeting. This is your first and last warning. Put the finger down and will be removed from the room. Sorry, sir, you may continue.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, just remove all your critics. That's how this works, it seems here. You know, the chief's report should be limited to 3 minutes. If it exceeds 3 minutes, which is the maximum amount of time the chief takes, everyone should be able to speak both in person and on the phone, regardless of how long the chief takes to give his report. So you talked a lot about today about how the LAPD responds to immigration raids, and it's all lies. Every time the LAPD responds, the LAPD shows up, the LAPD protects ICE, brutalizes protesters. That's what happens every time the LAPD responds. And this directive is not going to change that. So, we're going to have a supervisor now. That's going to stop everything. Yeah, no, it's not. Supervisor's just going to lead the brutalizing protesters and assisting ICE and protecting them, the protesters and everything. That's what the LAPD does when they respond to calls about ICE being somewhere. So, yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's see. So, the consent agenda. We do have a few items on the consent agenda today. We got a grant for forensic sciences, for more expansion of the police state. You have a donation of $20,000 for community safety partnership. We're going to make it feel like this. Oh, this is a community effort or something. And it's just more cops in the community. That's all it is. Brutalizing everyone. We have $300 donation for the property room at South Beach area. That's a bit much. $5,000 for wellness for Central era. Nothing surprising with wellness like $5,000. $11,000 for the LAPD hockey team. Why does the LAPD have a hockey team? Like, what's that for? so you can practice being brutal towards people? I don't know. $4,900 for equipment, and with that, $12,000 for special training, special events in the Northeast area. Okay, so you have the election of officers. Does that mean you're finally no longer going to be president now? Is it this period finally over? Thank God. I'm guessing Rasha's your front runner for president, probably. I have no idea if you're sitting for vice. Rasha, maybe slight improvement, but it's not going to be much change. You're still going to be enabling the LAPD, doing nothing to hold them accountable for anything. That's what you do. It's what you do here at Police Commission.
Next we have Jan Williams. Michael Williams.
It is just so disingenuous, this idea that LAPD is not working with ICE or not cooperating with ICE. Last Monday, there was viral video that went across the country of LAPD stopping people from simply filming ICE arresting someone, kidnapping someone, in broad daylight in the middle of downtown, forming a line to protect the kidnappers from being filmed. No one was trying to physically intervene. No one was trying to pull the woman away from them. They were simply trying to film them. A couple of days before that, LAPD arrested a member of the press, a photojournalist, who was trying to document ICE kidnapping people, for simply trying to document ICE kidnapping people. The gag is, the video that happened on last Monday, come to find out, that individual that was being kidnapped was a U.S. citizen. But LAPD didn't bother to ask ICE whether they had a warrant for her, whether they had asked for her ID.
That's right.
They did nothing but allow ICE to kidnap a U.S. citizen. Then on the other hand, you have a report that just came out, like Cal Matters, that exposed that LAPD has been giving license plate reader information to ICE. Not only have they been giving license plate reader information to ICE, but they have been doing searches for a license plate information on the request from ICE. This is something that Cal Matters exposed. So I would like this commission to ask, because I can't ask him, or maybe he will, maybe he answers someone else, or maybe he'll answer me. Is LAPD continuing the practice of giving license plate information to ICE? Are they continuing to do searches for license plate information on behalf of ICE? Is that continuing to go on? Because you can sit here and say, well, we're not arresting anybody, we're not detaining any of the immigrants. But when you're giving information to ICE, when you are allowing ICE to kidnap people illegally in front of you, then you are participating and cooperating with ICE. You are participating and aiding and abetting these kidnappings of our community members. And you can sit up here and lie to people, but the truth is coming out. The truth is being exposed about LAPD. And the divide between you and the community is growing bigger and bigger every single day.
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, what items would you like to speak on?
All items, please.
Okay, 3 minutes.
Thank you. I would like, good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, President Suthers. I appreciate the time to be able to speak with you. I would like to continue on with speaking about the relationship between the LAPD, the Commissioners, and the Church of Scientology, and how that relationship and the perceived relationship is certainly making an effect on those that need to report the crimes that have been committed against them, not only blatant crimes, crimes of sex trafficking, labor trafficking, I'm sorry, my dog's drinking in the background, excuse it, but also just the human rights violations and the civil rights violations that are happening. And they're unfortunately not able to, or feel they're not able to report and come to you because of that perceived relationship. There's also the task force, the initiative for the faith-based folks to come together to talk about the hate crimes and the issues we've asked for before, but we would like to have a list of the members of that initiative, so that way we can see who's on there, what voices are on there, or maybe even be a part of it. We would love to be a part of that, because we certainly aren't, as protesters and demonstrators, we're not hate crimes. We're not people speaking hate. We're speaking love. We're speaking love for the children and for the elderly that are being abused in that false religion. So if you would give us the members, or let us be a part of the initiative for the faith-based project, that would be a wonderful thing, and that is an action item, please. Please and thank you, and I yield back my time.
Next we have Paul Holder.
I guess all items. I've lived, worked, and raised children in LA for more than 40 years, and I've never appeared before the police commission before, never attended one of your meetings. But then again, I've never seen a situation like this in the past couple of months, where masked, heavily armed men who refuse to identify themselves and placing the city in a state of fear and terror, appear to be clearly using racial profiling without warnings in many cases, apparently, to threaten, harass, and detain people with brown skin. Anyone can wear a generic patch that says police, as we see on some of these videos. All it takes is $10 and supply sergeant to get you the type of police patch that one sees repeatedly in these kind of videos in the streets of LA and beyond.
Can't see it. Thank you.
I'm glad that you explained, Chief, what you say the police department's doing. I hope it is a reality that makes a difference, because I think I strongly support the LAPD monitoring, policing, and stopping anyone conducting dubious or illegal disappearances. We've seen what happened in Minnesota when someone impersonated a police officer and killed an elected official, her husband, and their dog. If we just, don't want things like this to happen anywhere, particularly in our city. And if this is allowed to continue, it's really unclear. I mean, who knows who these masked men will come for next? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Steve Riley. Steve?
Hello?
Okay. What items would you like to speak on?
All items, please.
Okay, 3 minutes.
Yes, I'm hearing a false narrative today about targeted enforcement actions by federal agents being called kidnapping. That is not kidnapping. Those are arrests.
Is this addressed to the commission?
You might not want those arrests to occur, but ICE
Is this
and
addressed to
federal
the
agents
commission?
are enforcing the law. They are doing their job. Federal, state, and local law
I'm just gonna allow
enforcement should be
him.
working together to enforce the law
Well, it's not
and
allowed.
improve public safety. That's
Excuse
what
me,
should.
excuse me, sir, I'm sorry. With the mask on, you've had your 3 minutes. Allow this gentleman to have his
But
3
he's
minutes. Or I
violating
will
the rules.
remove you from the room.
He's
This is your
violating
first
the
and last
rules.
warning. I will decide if he's violating the rule.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Mr. Riley, please continue.
Thank you, President Summers. I appreciate that. So,
Well, then fuck your
law
meeting.
enforcement
then.
should be working
Fuck your meeting.
together.
Because if you get to pick who choose
Excuse me, sir.
who violates,
Sir,
when clearly he's violating the rules, then fuck your
please
meeting.
leave the room.
Fuck your meeting. Kick me out. Fuck your meeting.
I'm ordering you out of the
Fuck
room.
the meeting. Fuck your meeting. Since you get to pick and choose who's violating and
I'm
who don't
ordering you
violate,
out of the room. You're
this
disrupting
man
the
is sitting
meeting.
up here talking to the audience.
You are disrupting.
You can't do that. And you allow him to do it because it's your time. But you won't allow anyone else to do it because they're against what you gotta say. And
Sergeant
you're
Bernard,
against it.
please remove this gentleman.
Fuck
from
your
the room.
meeting.
That's mine.
Let me continue with his comments. Apologies for the interruption.
Thank you, President Suthers. Just based on what I saw, and I've asked this before, people who disrupt a meeting, which is a misdemeanor that is occurring in the presence of the chief of police, the police commission, and LAPD personnel, should be placed under arrest for disrupting a meeting. It is a misdemeanor crime, and I think that's what should happen. Now that I've been interrupted twice, I'm trying to get back on my topic. Chief McDonald gave a great description of the LAPD role as it relates to what's going on in the city of Los Angeles when ICE operations are encountered. However, someone that impersonates a police officer should be arrested, or an agent. There should be no discretion on that. I'm not sure if I heard right, but may be arrested, it should be arrested. Okay, that's a serious crime. There are serious crimes have been committed by people impersonating police officers. Now, for Judge Sanchez-Gordon, here's a lesson for you. It's not just attire, it's the actions. Many times law enforcement professionals, like LAPD, can tell by the actions of others who they presume are police officers or federal agents. They can tell by their actions what they are doing. Is it the location, the time of day? We're not talking about a person in the middle of the night preying on people and committing crimes. These are broad daylight actions many times in public places, and you see what the agents are doing. You have to use common sense. Now, getting to Sergeant Ben, last week I asked for a moment of silence, and an unknown for him and an unknown person. The civilian who also lost his life, condolences to his family, is named Jesus Garcia. He had what was described as a solo accident, and I'd like to get more information on that. If we can get a report from CHP on the results of the investigation, or from Chief McDonald. A solo accident, what was the status of the driver? Sober or DUI? Licensed or unlicensed? Legal or illegal? These things matter. There's an LAPD sergeant dead, and I could go into further detail, but I don't have a lot of time. I ask you to care enough to ask those questions. The media sometimes does not ask the right questions. God bless the LAPD. God save Los Angeles.
Next, we have Iris Schneider.
They're gonna call us last. Oh, I know. Let's see if they call us at all. They're gonna call us last just to fuck with us.
Trying to identify these people, these masked men who are kidnapping and accosting and physically attacking our neighbors and our residents. I wrote a statement. It's nothing you haven't already heard, but I don't recognize my city or my country when I see packs of masked men carrying high-powered weapons, providing no identification, pulling up in unmarked cars and vans in broad daylight, targeting unsuspecting people, people crossing the street, people working, people appearing for their immigration hearings. And of course, Latinos, targeting them because of what they look like, not what they've done, not if they're doing illegal activities based on their color, which is illegal, racial profiling.
You think they're college
and
kids in the corner there? That whole group of
to an
visitors?
uncertain fate. They can't talk to
Do they
their
look young
lawyers.
to you?
They
I can't
tell
tell
their
anymore.
families where they are. There's
Do
no
they look
due
young to you?
process. They're
No.
just whisked away and disappeared. Reputable news reports and the mayor herself have spoken about gardeners, pedestrians, nannies taking care of children. The children are taken away taken away to legislators to wait for their parents to show up. Car wash employees, people heading to their immigration hearings being illegally threatened, physically attacked, and disappeared. And these people who are doing this do not identify themselves. Your police officers, when you do something with the public, when you interact with the public, you do not wear masks. You show your badges, you show your names. These people do not behave that way. They are not behaving in a professional manner. As the commission for the agency whose mission is to protect and serve, I ask that you step up and protect and serve Los Angeles residents. The unprofessional behavior of these men is endangering everyone, and they should not be permitted to rampage on our streets, terrorize and kidnap our neighbors. This behavior is unconscionable. It should not be allowed to continue. And you say that they are doing their job and arresting people. Who are these people? I'm not sure they're officers at all. They could be bounty hunters for all we know, being paid for each person that they arrest. This behavior does not say to me, these are professional law officers. And you would have to agree, I think, that this is not the way law enforcement should look. And it's dangerous for all of our citizens, and it's upsetting to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have to defend the LAPD.
Good morning. All items, please.
3 minutes.
Thank you. Rasha, Teresa, and Chief, please stop acting as though officer impersonation is a thing. It's not. You all know damn well there are federal agents and so does the public, and they're enforcing our country's laws. Mayor Bass appointed and controls all of you, and the department no longer operates independently. It follows politics, not law. You are violating your legal duties and your oath to protect the public. Your pattern of selectively enforcing laws, refusing to disperse illegal protests, stalling around for hours while officers are assaulted, and choosing not to act unless it is politically safe violates California Government Code Section 1222, defining willful neglect of duty as criminal offense. More importantly, it violates the Constitution. The Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment prohibits the government from protecting some groups and abandoning others based on politics. It should be illegal to act when lives and businesses are in danger simply because enforcement may upset the mayor or her allies. It's just not weak leadership. It denies residents their constitutional right to safety in a department that serves the law, not politicians. City Council is promoting a hotline that tips off illegals, nonprofits that help individuals evade immigration enforcement, and issuing public warnings about ICE activity. The city is actively aiding and abetting federal law violations. Mayor Bass, City Council members, the City Attorney, and the City Controller are complicit. Under Title 8, Section 1324 of the U.S. Code, felony to knowingly harm or stole illegal aliens for protection. These officials are using public resources to obstruct justice. I briefed Attorney General Pam Bondi's Chief of Staff about this direct interference, and I will continue urging federal action. Let's talk about the public guide you released, written by Arif. It failed to explain that immigration enforcement is civil, not criminal. It failed to clarify that ICE doesn't need a warrant, that due process rights don't apply the same way, or that agents don't need to show ID. The directive to officers was worse. We told them to take bogus kidnapping reports seriously, but gave no instruction to 911 operators to ask callers whether suspects had markings of federal agents. That creates dangerous confusion and puts officers and federal agents at risk of blue-on-blue confrontation. How many times have we heard your own officers say, our hands are tied because the mayor and chief are preventing them from making arrests, enforcing immigration rules, clearing encampments, or rescuing animals neglected or abused by homeless, or shutting down violent protests? That is a violation of the Constitution, including the Equal Protection Supremacy Clauses, which prohibit interference with federal law. You are not allowing this department to do its job, and everyone on this commission is complicit. Also, FYI, the clown in the black t-shirt with the fan is holding up a sign that says cunt towards the camera, and I agree with the other caller. You gotta flush these people out of meetings, they're really disturbing. Thank you.
Next we have Audit LA.
You need help with the mic or you got it?
Officer, I believe we have a mic here that we can extend as well. Not here today. Thank you.
Good morning. I want to continue on with, I want all items, by the way, but to continue on with what Mona was saying about how we have a bunch of victims of Scientology who are adults now, they, spend their childhood being horribly abused, and they want to come forward, people want to come forward, but the fact that Scientology has so much inroad with your CCABs that it is intimidating, and I can attest to that. I've never been in Scientology. I'm just here being a voice to help those who don't realize they have a voice yet, or they're afraid to speak, or they are speaking and they just need somebody by their side. I'm here for all of them, and it's costing me. I am being what they call fair game. I am being harassed. I have them coming to my where I live, interrogating my neighbors. Saying bad things against me to my neighbors, which is and stupid stuff like lies, but it's just intimidating. They are sending detectives, they're following, they're doing calling family, just all kinds of stuff. They've been known to kill pets that never even ever come through my door. I'm saying that. So I asked, there's a person who was a former Scientologist in it for 30 years, out for 25. She gave me advice. She said you need to ask for one officer that will document everything as you everything up till now, and then as you proceed, so everything's in one file. I don't know how to do that. She does that with her police department, whatever it is with her bank. So I'm here to ask the chief if that is possible. If I can please have one officer with one file that I can document everything that's happening. I am fearful for my life at this point. And I know it's, I'm sure it's under the directions of Kendrick Moxon and Kirsten Peterson. And they're doing other things, behind the scenes as well. They're harassing my former neighborhood council. They are doing all kinds of stuff. And I get they don't like that I'm speaking up against them, but I'm going to continue to speak up against them. And their behaviors are just absolutely proof why I need to speak up, why we all do. But the fact that they can sit and just makes me feel further unsafe. And I'm not somebody who was abused by them and have all their, the real internal dirty secrets. So I can't imagine what they go through. But just speaking up, I'm going through enough. And I don't like the fact that they have so much, they can bend your ear. Like not here, they don't have to come to public meetings, they can just go to your internal CPAC meetings and really have, the captains. And so, Chief, I'm really asking you, I'm begging you to really look into it, to really consider it. I know you have a lot on your plate right now, but it's something important, and I thank you.
Next we have Katie Marie.
Do you want to stay there?
So there's a couple of new faces in the audience here, and I want to make sure that they get the story, continuing on this theme of Scientology, right? And I want to get a very specific case. I know the commission's learning about these cases, but I'm going to give you a brand new one. It's actually not the one I mentioned before. I have on a recorded voicemail a high-ranking LAPD officer educated me on what happened internally to an incident dating May 7, 2024 of a Scientology agent and a child predator at that who was harassing protesters on Fountain Avenue at 4820 with a machete. And probably the most heinous thing this person had done on that day was commit indecent exposure and attempt to sexually assault a minor who has been repeatedly targeted by Scientology for quite a while now. A minor that this board knows very well. People talked about it before repeatedly. This minor has actually gotten a restraining order against somebody who absolutely is an agent of Scientology and has been so for many years now. A man by the name of Anthony D'Amato, very well known as constantly harassing people, happened to win a restraining order against this man for some of the fair gaming tactics that Audit LA was mentioning. But what happened on May 7th is that this man, who was figuratively known as Wendell, came in with a machete. And I know he's an agent because his property was seen on a gated, privately owned Scientology property just off of L. Ron Hubbard Way 2 days after, May 9th, 2024. And video footage was taken of this man trying to attack activists, vigorously masturbating in front of a minor child in public, broad daylight. This could have been maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock on a middle of the day Wednesday. And what happened is the following. The video was shown. PPAs were demanded of the officers. They refused to make any sort of arrest. They did not apprehend this officer, but it didn't stop there. I know for a fact, for an absolute fact, that the reason why, and the responding officers were all from Northeast, because it's always Northeast Division, not just them, but particularly Northeast. In Northeast, they said the following. Well, because he did it, and it meaning the attempted a sexual assault on the minor and the clear attempted assault on all the activists swinging a large machete, because he was next to a tree, meaning when he was vigorously masturbating in front of the minor, because he was next to a tree doesn't count. So if you're a Scientologist, right, you can get away with jacking off in front of a kid. It's proven. It's fact. And your high-ranking officers tell me this. And they're not the only snitch in here. I have so many others. But this is what Scientology does, right? If you're a Scientologist and you hide behind the religious veil, you can absolutely, without consequence, sexually harass children. You absolutely will get away with it. And damn shame on the LAPD. It's not the first time I'm talking about this. But look it up.
Thank you.
And sir, if you have that type of evidence, please contact the Inspector General's office instead of just coming here and saying, thank you.
Both does nothing.
Good morning, Chief. Talking about body-worn camera, I really wish that your employee right there have a body-worn camera, because I don't understand why she keep messing up with the owner of the speaker car. I'm the first one giving to the officers, first one to get into this room, and always not last to speak. I don't understand why. I wish she had some body-worn camera right there. Second of all, I'm here to talk about the freeway. The other day, my ex-girlfriend, Big Amy, is from New York, was visiting me over the weekend, and then her car engine immediately almost shut down in the middle of the freeway. And then, I was advising her, just call 911, maybe you'll get an LAPD, you'll get a CHP or something like that. And then, that's when the problem occurs. We were from, I'm from the upstate New York, so in our highway and in many other states, the highway, they have something called a mile marker. So you can clearly, notify the dispatcher, I'm on 45 miles on the, 210 freeway east or whatever. So the dispatcher are immediately knowing that where is your location and where do they send the LAPD officers to. But my friend Big Amy was saying that she does not see any mile marker on the freeway. She does not see any sign in that particular area. The only thing she sees is like, if you got injured, call Jacob Mayers. So nothing else that she can provide any location information to the dispatcher. And then I'm thinking, ask the dispatcher. They said, hey, LAPD, please GPS track my location. I'm stopping in the middle of the freeway. I don't have any mile marker to tell you my location. And then the GPS, the dispatcher said probably something like, quote, maybe. We work hand in hand with LAPD Science Coalition. We do not have any GPS tracking devices. Unfortunately, we don't know where are you. So I really wish in the future that our LAPD officer, let's have a community education program. Let's try to educate the public that where are you in the freeway, when you are stuck in the middle of the freeway, how do you inform the dispatcher that how do you describe your precise location, because Los Angeles, California does not have a mile marker. Same as the other incident, viral video I saw is that the LAPD officer asking the Jason Reedy, have you stopped beating your wife yet? And that is also a viral video. Thinking about the chief, when a wife was being kidnapped, was being beat up in a small room, storage room, he cannot call LAPD, he cannot talk on the phone, because once he makes a sound, he's gonna get beat again. So certain, we eventually need technology that someone call 911, we can track the phone, we can track the person, because not every victim are able to speak on the line. So that's something very important. Thank you.
Next we have Mr. Herman.
Who? Who?
Mr. Herman.
That public comment card that said P. Herman Biatch. Yep. Good morning, motherfuckers. There's new enforcement in California. It's called Trump 4547. The reason behind that is because we're tired of scumbag politicians like the one in Cudahy by the name of Cynthia Gonzalez, who hates law enforcement, who hates federal enforcement, who hates civil immigration rights of due process. And we got another dumb bitch from Alani, the same chola, asshole, dumbass, Jessica Acuna, who sat in a press conference with the black first mayor, Miss Ass the Carrot. As long as you have a carrot, she give you what you want, right, Jim? But it was Jim who knows that Donald Trump saved LAPD's ass, Carlos. Under 52.1, the Bain Act, Carlos. Dumbass, asshole. I'm referring to the Bain Act. Don't intimidate me and interrupt me my talk.
You are off topic.
Fuck you. I'm talking about government.
Move on.
Yeah, I will.
Move on.
Under the Brown Act, 42 U.S.C. 1983, the color of law. Don't fucking suppress me by intimidation.
Move on.
Yeah, well, what the chief said is that California fucking sucks because we have too many killings, too many burglaries, too many carjackings, too much fucking illegal vandalism, asshole. Too much illegal graffiti, asshole.
Sir, you're off topic.
I'm talking to an asshole.
Public comment is going to be terminated. Just back on topic.
What's that?
Public comment will be terminated.
May I continue in my 60 seconds of public comment, please, asshole? Okay. So, all these donations that we're hearing about that are in a public record here indicate that you, asshole, dumbass, cholo.
Off topic, move on.
What?
Sir, this is your first and last warning.
Say even names, doesn't make it on topic.
I am on. I'm talking about the goddamn donations, cholo.
Move on.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. What about the officer-involved shooting, asshole, jackass, moron? Am I on topic now?
You're off topic.
Sir, I'm ordering you out of the room.
Pardon me?
I'm ordering you out of the room. You don't understand English? I'm ordering you out of the room.
No, dirty nigger.
I'm ordering you
I
out
don't
of the room.
understand English. Dirty nigger. But I will leave because I had 18 seconds, you dirty fool. I will leave, Mr. SWAT ass.
Sergeant Arm, please remove this gentleman from the room.
Strategic lawsuit against public partition. I'm leaving because you are such a racist, asshole, idiot, moron, dumbass, jackass, piece of shit that we all here know because based on public comment, I state facts. God bless Donald Trump. Thank you, Pamela Bondi. Thank you, Bill O'Saley, because when this criminal corruption of LA goes down, I'll be the first to say 42 U.S.C. 1980 physical life league. Fuck you, Django. Bang! Bang! God bless Trump!
Madam Secretary, please announce the next speaker. reset his time. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Luis Cachua. I'm the younger brother to Hugo Cachua. I'm representing my brother that was murdered on May 30th, 2024, because he has no voice. I'm here to just to make sure that we get justice for him. For every breath that I take, I will never stop fighting till my brother gets justice in this case. We started a petition on May 30th after he was murdered, and we have close to 3,500 people that support us and have sided with us on what has happened in that occasion, that situation, a horrific act that Victor Corral took that night. One of the people that leave a comment, which is very plenty of, close to 3,500 people in our petition, states, and I quote from her, Liliana Alvarenga, Cachua family needs justice. Victor Corral needs to be arrested. On duty, off duty, LA or Ontario PD. This man shot and killed an unarmed human being with a gun he was carrying on his personal time in his personal car on public streets. What is the DOJ saying about this? What is it taking so long to see that Victor Corral needs to be held responsible? Why was he on leave, medical leave, personal leave? Regardless, it does not matter. Why was medical leave, personal leave, doesn't matter. Corral is a danger to others and should not be allowed to be roaming around free. He is a danger to others and needs to be held accountable. He is not above the law, nor is he God. Has this dash cam video made it harder to prove otherwise? Come on, we need answers and justice. And this is a person that we have no idea who they are. These are just people that comment and sign our petition and help us for this long fight that we have ahead of us. Also stating for the case that Corral has fabricated and lied to defend himself. I don't know if he's taught that. The police department teaches them to say these things, which are crucial to what has happened in this oversight or interview of what happened with Corral, which was life was threatened. He thought he was gonna have bodily harm, and he identified himself to my brother, which he clearly never did. He states that Corral states that he told Hugo, I'm a LA police officer, and my brother violently attacked him. That's completely false. He also states that he was in danger of his life. He thought he was going to die. With a man that's unarmed, has no object in his hand, is completely, had no criminal history, has nothing. He discriminated against my brother. And all he did was shoot my brother in cold blood, 3 shots. He didn't give him a warning. He didn't tell him that he had a weapon. He didn't identify himself. So I'm here regardless of what happens. I'll always be here seeking truth because I know if it was the opposite role, my brother would be arrested. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I stand before you today to speak on behalf of Hugo Cachua. On April 15th, you guys had a closed meeting session regarding the incident that happened on May 30th. Now, according to this investigative report, this OIG report, there is a lawful in-policy decision that was made and no action is required. No further action is required. It's stated in black and white. Now, I want to speak facts, okay? You're going off of what this officer, so-called officer, is stating. He's giving you this interview, and he's telling you that my brother said, and I want this on public record, that my brother said he wasn't going back to prison. My brother has never been to prison. Why would an unarmed civilian claim they're not going back to prison and attack an officer? Now I want this on record. My brother's son, who just graduated high school, has been 4 years in high school, ROP classes, to be a firefighter, to stand beside each and every one of you law enforcement officers. My brother is not a hateful man. He was unarmed. He has never been to prison. He has no criminal record. He is not on gang file. There is no rap sheet to back up what this officer is saying. This is facts, you guys. You guys ruled in his favor. I am begging you, I am asking you to reconsider this investigation. The DOJ has the case in their hand. And I pray to God, and if you guys are God-loving, faithful people, please know that if they rule, may God strike me now. This is unlawful. This is injustice. This officer, I know you guys stick to a blue code. I know you guys go in their favor. Time after time after time. I'm going to tell you, what happened to Hugo Ernesto Cachua on May 30th was wrong. You cannot get in a fight and then pull a cop card. Nobody, no witnesses have said that he identified himself. Nobody, not even when they're coming out to render aid and help, did he say, I'm an officer, back up. You guys are trained to do certain things, to act in a certain manner, and he did not follow protocol. He's been off of a year and a half, and he killed Hugo. Is he still really considered an officer? Please investigate this. Please consider what we're saying, because this is facts. Look into it. No criminal history. No criminal history.
Thank you. We're at time. We will take 15 more minutes of public comment.
Jonathan Foster, the five-pointed star. 5 points star. Jesus is the five-pointed star. He fulfilled the Torah. It's one star point for the 5 books of the Torah. Thank God, Jesus. 4B. You can get on the docket to change this, but you can't change the shooting the mentally ill. How about 3B? Where's your cams? You guys need some cams. So on here, I wrote rogue officer. It's, there's a lot of rogue officers in the department. And I wrote this way back here. There's a lot of people trying to make the department do good things. These rogue officers look like they're married and have done very good. You wouldn't know they were rogue officers. No, it's MOUs. MOUs. Memorandum of Understanding. What a bunch of bullcrap that is. And this goes along with this commission. We don't know who the next commissioner is. We don't know who this is, but already they're in trouble. They're already guilty of everything the commission has done wrong. We don't even know who this person is. And they will be asking these same questions that I heard for the last 6 years. They'll ask them again and waste this time. It's incompetence. But it's not intentional incompetence, right? So I suggested there should be 23 commissioners. So if 1 or 2 leave, like right now, there could be larger representation for the people and less error in judgment so that justice can be done. But nobody wants to make this 23 commissioners. Anthony Soul, the officer, is not a licensed physician, but they were giving him Narcan. And what happened is just like Officer Chauvin on top of George Floyd, but this was a community member. He was in red. You all watched the video, didn't you? And he was on top of him, and he kept thrusting down. Yo, look at me. Hello, hello, look at me. Hello, look at me. Hello, look at me. Hello, look at me. Hello, 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 look at me. And they were thrusting. He was thrusting down like this on Soul. He's just a community member. And he had a compromised heart. So his arms were behind his back and he was shoving his heart into the concrete. He killed him. When LAPD came by, he had a heartbeat and breathing, and then he dies. And it's blamed on the LAPD. The guy in red killed him. You have to go watch the video. More to say, but not enough time.
Thank you.
Ariana?
You're not gonna take virtual.
Hi, good morning. My name is Ariana. I am a healthcare worker here in Los Angeles, born and raised. This department is one of the most diverse in the country, and that should really mean something. We should be restoring faith, building trust, and working together for real public safety. Not public safety on fear, public safety on respect. Instead, peaceful protesters are being beaten, tear gassed, and silenced simply while holding signs or flags. The LAPD is spending millions of taxpayer dollars on overtime not to respond to violence, but seemingly to suppress voices that are demanding
I gotta go talk to
changes.
him. I'm gonna head up. I gotta go talk
This
to
is
the
not public
OIG guy.
service, it's
And then I'm gonna
public
head over to city council.
intimidation.
Yeah.
The Constitution does not say only if it's before 10 p.m. Protests are not supposed to be convenient. They're
Too many
supposed to be heard. And under public
You know where it is. If you keep eating like this, I'm gonna expect lunch.
Hi. Hello. I don't know if you know, but your stickers on your leg.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
It's purposeful.
want.
I'm not finding from the secretary's office.
From chief of staff.
I've seen you around here.
Yeah. Do you need me here, or do you?
I don't know if he has an actual complaint against,
Not
report,
not particular officers. I mean.
or is it a crime report? I'm not sure what it
Yeah,
is.
it's sort of both. I mean, the officers that responded to the
Okay,
scene.
let's
Are,
start, okay.
yeah.
Just go with my partner, I'll be a few more minutes.
Yeah, before we start, just to make it clear.
Yeah.
If you have a complaint against a department employee,
Mhm.
and you haven't already submitted a complaint, then we can take the complaint, or internal affairs can take the complaint. But since I'm here, I can take that complaint against the department employee.
Yeah.
But if it's a crime report,
Yeah.
then the department would take the crime report. If it's some criminal incident that may.
Yeah, no, it's
Hasn't been reported already.
yeah. I don't have the serial numbers offhand, but I will get them. But it is complaints against officers for, at the very least, behavior on becoming an officer. There was about 3 responding officers. I believe 2 were from the Northeast, 1 was from Hollywood,
Okay.
and
Because if you don't have the information, we have an email where you could,
Yep,
do
yep.
you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll do that. I just wanted to make sure I said it on the record there, and then
All right.
I at least met with you in person, just so you know. But
Okay.
the gist is just that on what I made on public comment.
Okay.
There was a black man, I would wager somewhere between 60 to 70 years old. He was approximately 5'8", maybe 160 in weight, and he appeared to be very run down. He had raggedy clothes on, and he had come to Fountain Avenue, right next to 4820 Fountain Avenue, at a time where people were busking on the public sidewalk. They had some food and some music that they were playing. This man came with his machete. He was openly swinging at the people exclusively who were videotaping, who were using their busking time as a protest against Scientology. They were singing. It was very peaceful.
And
There was
what-
children
what date
present.
was that?
This was May the 7th, 2024. Approximate time around 4 to 5 o'clock.
So before you get too much further, I don't want to waste too much of your time. I know you had said that officers came and the PPAs were not
Executed,
accepted.
correct.
Do you know if a crime report was taken?
I would imagine as part of that conversation, I don't actually know if at that particular spot they did it, but I know a crime report in fact was generated as part of an incident report. So yes.
So at some point a crime report
Yes.
was taken?
Yes.
Okay. So as
Yes.
long as the crime has been documented?
Yes.
That's really what my involvement is going to be?
Yes.
So I'm going to let you carry on your conversation with
Sounds
him.
good.
Is there anything else that you need from me?
I mean, just so that you're aware as well, I mean, it was quite egregious. It was so blatant, and that's the underlying issue I have. At the very least, it's textbook case of indecent exposure. There were never charges prosecuted. There was never a follow-up investigation, and the issue at hand really is the disregard of the concern people had that were on scene who had videotaped the entire incident. There wasn't one or two or three, there was about half a dozen people on scene.
And just to confirm, you were actually not there.
I was watching it was a live streamed event where
Okay.
people had documented on YouTube and TikTok. One of the people,
But were you physically there?
I was not physically there at
Okay,
that time.
You're observing it
I was
live.
observing
Okay,
it,
got it.
correct,
Okay.
correct. And I actually know one of the people that had made the interaction with the officer, Daniel Villegas Rodriguez. He is also an activist who has been harassed actively by Scientology and its agents. And in fact, he had won a frivolous restraining order against a Philip Campos, a Scientologist who filed a frivolous restraining order and lost. He was represented by Dorothy M. Gibbons.
Okay, and just to document, that you met with us, your full name again was?
Enri, E-N-R-I,
That's right.
yep.
Okay,
Enri Marini. And then
M-A.
How do you spell your last name?
it's like Marine, but instead of an E at the end, it's an I. Yeah.
An E-N-R-Y?
E-N-R-I.
I.
Oh, I,
Yeah.
okay, got it. Okay, so not to waste your time too, you have our email, correct?
Yep.
And if you could, what we need is the identification of the officers
Sure,
involved.
sure.
The date and time.
Sure.
Of the incident. If you have the incident report, that would be terrific, and then we could proceed from there.
Yep.
And provide as much detail, who was physically there that
Sure,
observed all of this?
sure.
That would be very important for us, and then we could take it from there and stuff.
Sounds
And we
good.
could follow up, generate the complaint, and it goes over to internal affairs for actual investigation.
Yep.
It's not chief of police involved, and we don't investigate. Everything non-chief of police related will be conduct the investigation.
Sounds good.
Special
I appreciate
Senator.
And then if you are able to contact the person who actually filed the police report? So
Yes,
whoever-
he's a good friend of mine. I'm in close contact
Okay, so
with
whoever
him.
the victims are.
Yep.
This is my email address. If
Yep,
they
I appreciate it.
would like me to reach out to, I don't know if it's Northeast or Hollywood Division that would be handling that police report.
The jurisdiction, it would be Northeast just based off of where the event occurred over on Fountain Avenue.
So likely it will be Northeast, but sometimes, with the way our borders shake out, sometimes, we think it's one place and it's not. But either way, we can reach out to whichever command is handling the investigation and ensure that the victim is getting the appropriate level of contact from the detectives. So on the back there, so on the front is my name, my serial number, my email address, and my office phone number.
Yep.
And on the back is just the date and time and the reason why you and I spoke.
Yep, sounds good. And if you want, I believe you have my email, but I'll say it again. It's
Yeah.
info@filmthepoliceusa.com.
Oh, what is, oh, sorry.
Yep, it's info@filmthepoliceusa.com.
USA.com.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right, terrific.
All right, appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And like I said, as much detail as you can.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll be sure to get you all the information.
All right, terrific.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Because you did get responses from us, from the other.
Yeah, I was able to receive the CF, thank you, the CF numbers. And so the confirmation that my report was also taken as part of a police report.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, I'm gonna cut it here and go to city council.